Hello friends, welcome back to the video lessons on electronic measuring instruments. In this class, I will explain about sine or square wave audio frequency oscillator. Before we go to the present topic, let us try to recollect what we have studied in the previous class. We have seen what is a signal generator. A signal generator is a source of AC signal which provides variable frequency signals either in analog or digital format. It can provide signals of various shapes such as sine wave, rectangular, triangular, ramp, and spikes, etc. The basic requirement of signal generator. A signal generator has some important requirement. The first one is the frequency of the signal produced by the signal generator should be known and it should be stable, and the amplitude of the signal produced by the signal generator should be stable and should be adjustable, and the most important one is the signal produced by the signal generator should be distortion free. Then classification of signal generators. Signal generators are classified based on various parameters. Based on the frequencies generated, signal generators are classified as audio frequency oscillators producing signals within the range of 20 Hz to 20 kHz, radio frequency oscillators producing signals within the range of 20 kHz to 30 MHz, and video frequency oscillators producing the signals within the frequency range of 0 Hz, that is DC, to 30 MHz, and very high frequency oscillators producing signals within the frequency range of 30 MHz to 300 MHz, ultra high frequency oscillators producing signals within the frequency range of 300 MHz to 3000 MHz, and microwave frequency signal generators producing signals within the above 3000 MHz frequencies. Then the block diagram of an AFO, that is the audio frequency oscillator, consists of one oscillator. It can be an audio oscillator uh, made up of RC phase shift circuit or Wien bridge circuit. But Wien bridge oscillators are widely used because they produce very high frequency stable signals. The other one is attenuator. Attenuators provide variable amplitude signal. That is, it provides for the adjustment of the variation in amplitude of the AFO output. This is what we have seen in the last class. Now let us try to know about the block diagram of sine or square wave audio frequency oscillator. Oscillator circuits used in AFO, sine to square wave converter circuits used in AFO, and then attenuator used in AFO. This is the basic block diagram of a sine or square wave audio frequency oscillator. It mainly consists of an oscillator circuit, a sine to square wave converter circuit, an attenuator, and a function switch. The function switch connects the attenuator either to oscillator or to the sine to square wave converter. When the function switch is connected to oscillator, the output the output available at the attenuator is variable frequency, variable amplitude sinusoidal signal. On the other hand, when the switch is connected to the sine to square wave converter, the output at the attenuator is variable amplitude, variable frequency, square wave signal. A simple sine or square wave audio oscillator consists of an oscillator generating a sinusoidal output waveform, usually RC type oscillator. Sine to square wave converter. Generally, wave shaping network or Schmitt-Trigger circuit is used for this sine to square wave converter. Then attenuator. It provides for variable amplitude of the output signal. Then function switch. It is used to select either sine wave or square wave to give either sine wave or square wave output. Then oscillator. Oscillator consists of oscillator circuits used as audio oscillators or RC oscillators and beat frequency oscillators. Regarding beat frequency oscillators, we have seen in the last class. And about RC oscillators, it was briefly described in the last class. In RC oscillators, there are two types, RC phase shift oscillators and Wien bridge oscillators. In case of RC phase shift oscillator, amplifier produces 180 degrees phase shift and the network consisting of RC components provides another 180 degrees phase shift which is used as a feedback path circuit. On the other hand, in Wien bridge oscillator, the Wien bridge does not produce any phase shift, but two transistor amplifiers are used in inverting amplification mode, each producing 180 degrees phase shift from input to output, so that the total output phase shift from the input is 360 degrees. Generally, Wien bridge oscillators are the most commonly used as they provide good frequency stability and distortion-free waveform in the audio range. The block diagram of detailed block diagram of a audio frequency sine wave and square wave generator. As told already, Wien bridge oscillator is used as the source of sinusoidal signal, and apart from Wien bridge oscillator, the circuit consists of an amplitude attenuator, a potentiometer is used, and sine wave amplifier, the output of the Wien-Bridge oscillator, that is a sine wave, is given to the potentiometer, and the potentiometer provides for amplitude adjustment of the sine wave. Then that signal is given to an amplifier followed by an attenuator circuit. This attenuator is used for selecting the range of the amplitude, either multiplied with 1 or multiplied with 10. Whereas this potentiometer is used for continuous adjustment of the amplitude. At the output of the attenuator, we get a sinusoidal signal with variable frequency and variable amplitude. The variation in frequency is obtained by using a variable capacitor in the Wheatstone bridge circuit, and by adjusting the value of that variable capacitor, we can get variation in frequency of sine output. When the function switch is connected to square wave shaper, then the Wien-Bridge output, that is a sinusoidal signal, is given as input to the square wave shaper. And the square wave shaper will convert the sinusoidal signal into a square wave pulse. Then that square wave signal, not pulse, I'm sorry, the square wave signal. That square wave signal is amplified using a square wave amplifier and attenuated using an attenuator. As I told already, this attenuator is used for the purpose of selecting the range of the amplitude. And here the output is a variable frequency, variable amplitude square wave. Working of sine or square wave audio frequency oscillator. The circuit is designed to produce sine wave or square wave output over the frequency range of 20 Hz to 20 kHz. Wien-Bridge oscillator is best suited in the audio frequency range. It provides continuous frequency variation by changing the tuning capacitor in the oscillator circuit. The output of the oscillator is controlled by a function switch. Like this, when it is in the first position, output would be sine wave. When it is in the second position, the output would be square wave. Function switch directs the oscillator output either to sine wave amplifier or square wave amplifier. Linear wave shaping circuit or Schmitt trigger converts the sine wave to square wave. Sine and square wave amplifiers provide amplification, and they also provide buffering between oscillator output and load circuit. This is to avoid loading of the external circuit on oscillator, because the oscillator has to provide a continuous, a stable amplitude signal. That is why the amplifiers used either in square wave generator circuit or square wave generator circuit, they act as buffering circuits also. Sine or square wave output is obtained through step attenuator, the final block. Variable amplitude is obtained by attenuator, which acts as a attenuator multiplier switch, multiplied with 1 or multiplied with 10, like that. And magnitude control, that is the potentiometer at the input. is achieved by the amplitude variation switch. The entire instrument is placed in a shielded cabinet. That is a basic description of sine wave, square wave, AFO and its working. Now let us look into the details one by one. First, Wien-Bridge oscillator. Wien-Bridge oscillator is used as an oscillator in all commercial audio oscillators. It provides good regulation, good stability, and accurate and reliable output signal. And it also provides distortion-free waveform. Here is the circuit of a Wien-Bridge oscillator. As you can see here, this portion is Wien-Bridge, consisting of a series combination of resistors R1 and C1, parallel combination of resistors R2 and C2, and two resistors R3 and R4 in the four different arms. And here the supply or excitation to the bridge circuit is taken from the output of the oscillator circuit between terminals A and C. Whenever the power supply is switched on, then due to switching transients, there will be some output, and that output will act as input to the oscillator circuit, and it starts producing oscillations. Then here the output of the bridge is given between the base and emitter of transistor Q1, that is voltage between terminals B and D. Now this output voltage of the bridge will drive the transistor into conduction. The transistor starts conducting. When the transistor starts conducting, then the capacitor C4 charges, and initially this transistor would conduct, and as the capacitor fully charges, this transistor gets reverse biased and would turn off. Then what happens here? The output voltage becomes low. When the output voltage becomes low, now the capacitor starts discharging in the opposite direction. So the first portion is positive half cycle of the signal. During the negative half cycle of the signal, all capacitors start charging in the opposite direction. That means in the negative direction, and that process once again continues till the capacitors charge in the opposite direction fully. Once the capacitors charge fully in the opposite direction, once again the transistor Q1 gets turned on and Q2 is turned on, and the capacitors once again start charging in the forward direction. So that is how. And one more point here we have to observe here is two transistor amplifiers used, each in inverting configuration, that is in CE configuration, wherein the output would be at 180 degrees phase shift. So here 180 degrees phase shift followed by another 180 degrees phase shift here. Put together 360 degrees phase shift is available here. That is how this oscillator produces continuous frequency signal of sinusoidal nature. So initially the output would be positive, Capacitor starts charging, C4 and C5 start charging in one direction, and when they completely charge fully, then the bias on Q2 will become low. When the bias on Q2 is low, then the output changes its polarity. Capacitors start charging in the opposite direction. In the opposite direction, we will get the signal at the output. And the frequency of the oscillations produced at the output of this Wien-Bridge oscillator is given by the expression 1 by 2 pi square root of R1 C1 R2 C2, R1 C1 and R2 C2. Working of Wien-Bridge oscillator. Standard oscillator for generating audio frequencies up to 20 kHz. That is, Wien-Bridge oscillator is the standard oscillator used for generating audio frequencies up to 20 kHz. Then frequency of oscillation is changed by capacitors ganged and connected to frequency dial on the front panel. The capacitors C1 and C2 are connected to the dial on the front panel. Variable capacitors would be used, and those two capacitors are connected together and are given to the front panel dial. So when you change the dial position, capacitance value changes, thereby oscillator output frequency would also change. Frequency range is changed by R1 and R2. Frequency range is varied by R1 and R2. Whereas within that range, the frequency is adjusted by varying capacitance C1 and C2. And a Wien-Bridge oscillator provides an output impedance of 600 ohms. This low output impedance will make sure that the loading of the external circuit on Wien-Bridge oscillator would not affect its performance. The first part is the sine wave generator, and the second one is wave shaping circuit. Here a Schmitt trigger circuit is used. This is for rectangular or square wave, sine to square wave converter circuit. Now, as you can see here, initially let us suppose that the power is turned off, and when you turn on the power, then here the output is at uh, positive potential. That means at the positive output. And here the output value is clamped. Sorry, the output value is clipped. It will not be between VCC and VEE. It will be clipped because of the arrangement of D2 followed by R4 or D1 followed by D5. As you can see here, when the output here is positive, diode D1 will conduct. When diode D1 will conduct, this output terminal is connected through D1 to the reverse biased Zener diode D5. With supply voltage VCC, here Zener diode is connected in reverse bias. In reverse bias, it acts as a regulator. So it provides a fixed DC voltage, that is VZ5. Now, what is the output voltage here during the positive output? It would be VD1 plus VZ, VZ3, or sorry, oh, VZ5, because it is D5, so VZ5. Suppose when the output is negative here, then diode D2 conducts and this output terminal is effectively connected to this position. With negative voltage minus VEE reverse biasing this Zener diode D4, it acts as a regulator producing fixed DC voltage which is equal to VZ4. So the voltage here is VD2 plus VZ4. VD2 generally would be equal to VD1 and VZ3 would be generally equal to VZ4. So we can say that the output voltage swing here is plus or minus VD plus VZ. VD plus VZ. Now let us see what happens here. When there is no input signal, let us suppose that the output voltage is at some value, arbitrary value. When a positive half cycle of the input signal starts, then immediately here the output goes high. When the output is high, that is VD1 plus VZ, a fraction of that output voltage, that is V naught, if I assume that V naught equal to VD1 plus VZ, then V naught by R1 plus R2 into R2, that is the voltage provided as negative feedback to the operational amplifier. So when the sinusoidal voltage is increasing gradually, then the output continues to be positive. But when the sinusoidal signal is decreasing gradually, that is in the second quarter of its positive half cycle. In the first quarter of the positive half cycle, this voltage, that is non-inverting input, would always be greater than inverting input. So naturally output would be positive. During the second quarter of the positive half cycle, when the sinusoidal signal is decreasing gradually, at one point of time, the sinusoidal voltage applied at the non-inverting terminal of the operational amplifier would be lesser than the inverting output. So what happens? The output of the comparator will go low. When the output of the comparator will go low, then once again a part of that voltage would be applied here, right? So during the negative half cycle, the entire negative half cycle, the output voltage remain the same, negative only. In the fourth quarter of the cycle of the input signal, or in the second quarter of the negative half cycle, when the sinusoidal voltage falls below the inverting output, inverting input, then the comparator once again changes its state. So here at this point, the comparator is changing from low to high. That is how a sinusoidal signal is converted into a square wave signal. Actually, this portion is meant only for clipping the output voltage. This is the Schmitt trigger circuit which produces the square wave output. If only this circuit is there, then the output amplitudes here would be, in positive state it would be plus VCC, in negative state it would be minus VEA. But plus VCC and minus VEA are very high voltages when connected to any load circuit. So instead of applying that high voltages, clipping circuit is applied using resistance and diode. As a result, the output of the linear wave shaping circuit is clipped to plus or minus Vz and Vd. Is that clear? How a Schmidt trigger circuit converts the sine wave into square wave, and how the clipping circuit reduces the level of the output voltage transitions in the positive cycle and negative cycle. Here, the linear wave shaping circuit shows conversion of sine wave to square wave without change in frequency. Operational amplifier functions as non-inverting amplifier, which provides high gain. Positive and negative clipping is provided at certain voltage levels by D1 and D2 diodes and Zener diodes D3 and D4 and associated resistors. Amplitude of square wave output is plus or minus Vz plus Vd. As I told already, it would be either plus Vz plus Vd or minus of Vz plus Vd. Schmidt trigger circuit using two transistors mode. Another circuit which is used commonly in two transistor mode is shown here. Here, initially, let us suppose that no voltage is available here. When no voltage is available, this transistor would be in off state. When this transistor is in off state, here the voltage would be high because no current is flowing through the circuit, no drop across this. Whatever is the supply voltage that appears here, the same appears here. The transistor starts conducting. When the transistor is conducting, here the voltage would be IC2, that is the current through the transistor T2, that is IC2 into RE. We can also say this as the drop across resistance RE, VRE. Now, when a sinusoidal signal is applied here, now here the emitter of the transistor is at VRE. And we know that this is an NPN transistor and base has to be at more positive potential than the emitter for the transistor to conduct. Base emitter junction should be forward biased and collector emitter junction should be reverse biased for transistor to conduct. So naturally, the voltage at the base of transistor should be greater than VBE plus VRE. That is, when a sinusoidal signal is increasing sinusoidally up to certain value, there won't be any conduction in the transistor. The transistor will be in off state and this transistor T2 will be in on state and the outputs continue to remain the same. After some value, when Vin increases slightly beyond VBE and VRE, this transistor base emitter junction is forward biased. Transistor T1 would conduct. When transistor T1 conducts, the potential here would be lesser because now it would be only VCE and VRE. The potential here will be VCE and VRE and which would be VCE plus VRE Further, that voltage is divided by a potential divider between R1 and R2. That is, the voltage at the base here is VCE of transistor T1 plus VRE divided by R1 plus R2 into R2, which is not sufficient enough to drive this transistor into conduction. So the transistor would turn off. When this transistor turns off, the output voltage will become low. So initially the output voltage was high. Now it will become low. Next, when the voltage here gradually starts decreasing in the second quarter of the first half positive half cycle, second quarter of the positive half cycle, up to certain voltage level, there won't be any change in the output. But when the sinusoidal voltage falls below certain level, then automatically the transistor, this transistor would turn off and this transistor would turn on. So here the output will go once again high. So first this would be high. When this transistor conducts, it will come to low state and continues to remain as low till the voltage here, sinusoidal voltage here in the in the second quarter of the positive half cycle falls below certain voltage level. At that case, once again the output will go high. And once again, during the entire negative half cycle, it continues to be high only. When the negative half cycle is about to end, then this transistor starts conducting and this transistor would turn off. That process will go on continuously, converting the sinusoidal signal into a rectangular pulse. As you can see here, this is how it happens. From here, during the positive half cycle, up to here, the output would be low. From here to during this period, it would be high. And even during this period also, up to some extent, it would be high. Then when it decreases further, the output will become low. Continues to remain as low up to here. Once again, when the input increases in the positive half cycle, the output will be high. When the input starts decreasing in the negative half cycle, output falls low. That is how the variations will take place. The sinusoidal signal will be converted into a sine wave, a rectangular or a square wave signal. And here one point to be kept in mind is the potential at which the output of the circuit changes from low to high is called as upper threshold potential, and the potential at which the output of the circuit will change from high to low is called lower threshold potential. Here upper threshold potential will be slightly greater than the lower threshold potential. That is why here you can see the on time is slightly lesser than the off time. Working of Schmitt trigger. Already it has been explained. Once again, I'll read it out. Multivibrator converts any input signal into square wave without changing the signal frequency. Without changing the signal frequency. In the circuit shown in 47.5, that is this one, at zero input voltage, T1 is on and T2 is off. Input voltage required to start conduction of T1 is known as upper trigger voltage or upper threshold potential. At upper threshold potential, T1 starts conducting. So upper threshold potential is equal to VE2 plus VBE, where VE2 is the voltage drop across RE, where when T2 conducts at saturation, and VBE is the forward bias voltage required by the transistor to conduct. Lower threshold potential is the input voltage required for the transistor T2 to conduct in saturation again. At LTP, that is at lower threshold potential, T1 is off and T2 starts conducting at saturation. Therefore, Smith trigger distinguishes two finite values of upper threshold potential and lower threshold potential of input voltage that results in conversion of sine wave into square wave. Conversion of sine wave into square wave. Generally, resistance type of attenuators are used in audio frequency oscillator. The next one is attenuators used in AFO. Generally, resistance type of attenuators are used in audio frequency oscillator. And these attenuators are capable of adjusting the output voltages from 1 microvolt to zero point 0.1 volt. They should have capability of providing continuously variable output between attenuator steps and the input of the attenuator given from reference voltage of the output of the amplifier. The attenuator should have the capability of providing continuously variable output between attenuator steps, that is between 0.1 multiplied with 0.1 or multiplied with 1 or multiplied with 10, and the input of the attenuator given from reference voltage of the output amplifier. Now, what we have seen till now is basic blocks of sine or square wave AFO or Wien-Bridge oscillator, sine wave to square wave converter, function switch, output amplifier, and attenuator. Wien-Bridge is widely used because of good frequency stability and low distortion. Practical audio frequency oscillator generates frequencies from 10 Hz to 20 kilohertz. So this is all about the basics of audio frequency oscillator, that is sine wave or square wave AFO. And The next topic is working of function generator with block diagram. That we'll see within a few minutes. Please stay connected.